Nghệ An would simply be a stopover on our journey south. Instead, it turned out to be one of the most pleasant surprises of our trip. Xin chào! Welcome back to Chasing Someday. When planning this journey, Nghệ An wasn't a destination we were particularly excited about. To be honest, we thought it would simply be a stopover on our way further south. But after spending 2 days here, we realized we'd completely underestimated this province. Today, we'll share what surprised us most about Nghệ An and why it became one of the most memorable stops of our journey so far. Hey everybody! We're about to leave our hotel room in Thanh Hóa.
We're going to Nghệ An next, about 150 km away. It's a long drive along Highway 1, which is quite busy.
Okay, everybody, so the bike is all packed. As you can see, it does take us a few minutes to pack it each time, but we're getting better. We're getting a lot better compared to the first time. We're about to head off. So goodbye, Thanh Hóa. I don't envisage us coming back again. So, it's always a little bit sad to leave a place where you know there's a high chance that you won't come back again. We're just glad that we get to experience it. Bye, Thanh Hóa! We left Thanh Hóa around 9:30 in the morning and headed 150 kilometers south towards Nghệ An. The route followed Highway 1A, one of Vietnam's busiest highways. After some of the beautiful roads we'd ridden earlier in the trip, we were expecting this to be one of the toughest riding days of the journey. Surprisingly, traffic wasn't quite as busy as we'd anticipated. The road service was generally good, although there were still a few tense moments, including a car pulling out in front of us without warning. It certainly kept Daniel focused. It wasn't the most relaxing ride, but the beautiful scenery in some parts made up for it. About an hour into the ride, something caught Daniel's attention. A roadside shop filled with unusual roosters and exotic birds. And if you know Daniel, you know about his love for animals, especially roosters and chickens. We made a quick U-turn, spent a few minutes having a look around, and before long, Daniel was completely fascinated. Eventually, we managed to drag ourselves away and continue south towards Nghệ An. By around 2:30 p.m., we arrived at Milia Vinpearl Cửa Hội. Rather than staying in Vinh City, the capital of Nghệ An, we chose the beachfront resort just outside the city. Whenever there's a Vinpearl property in a destination we're visiting, we choose to stay there. The service is reliable, the rooms are comfortable, and after weeks on the road, that familiarity is always appreciated.
Hello again, everybody. So we have checked into the room, unpacked. We just ordered some food. We're starving. It's actually 4 o'clock already. We haven't had any lunch. After food, we're going to venture out to the beach.
The beach sits right behind the resort. Long stretches of sand, gentle waves, very few people. Exactly what we needed after another day on the bike. Later that evening, we headed out on a mission. One of the local specialties here is Mực Nhảy, or jumping squid. So naturally, we had to try it. Unfortunately, every restaurant we visited had already sold out. Apparently, once the day's catch is gone, it's gone. Our mission seemed doomed. Then a friendly taxi driver came to the rescue. He suggested another restaurant further down the road and even called ahead to check if they still had some available. Thankfully, they did. Papa Daniel is enjoying his fresh squid. I think he's satisfied. He's been waiting for this all day. 10 to 11 at night. Nobody on the road. We've just finished dinner, heading back to the resort. The next morning started with breakfast at the resort. Normally, we're not big breakfast people, but Vinpearl hotels are known for their breakfast buffets, and this one certainly didn't disappoint.
Well, hello everybody. Here we are at the beach. We've just finished having breakfast. Actually, no, we went to the gym first. We're the only ones at the beach. We've got the whole beach to ourselves, which is awesome. Well, except for the lifeguard from the resort. And we're going to head up and then head into town to try and get some lunch and do a couple of excursions. How many Ks is it to town, Papa Daniel?
About 15k.
Oh, 15 Ks, not too far.
But still half an hour.
Yeah, that's the plan for today. So far, loving Nghệ An, nothing to complain about.
No, each town has their own.
Each town has its own quirks and pros and cons, I guess we should say. Nothing negative. We're just going with the flow. You know, take the good with the bad. It's been mostly good. Nothing bad, really.
I think we just a bit open-minded.
We're very grateful, very thankful for what we've been able to do. And we're glad that we're able to take you along the ride with us. Do join us. We'd be, so happy to have you.
Our first stop afterwards was Làng Sen, the birthplace of Ho Chí Minh, and one of the most important historical sites in Nghệ An.
Hai vợ chồng mình đi thăm quê nội và quê ngoại của Bác Hồ nhé, ở thị xã Nam Đàn, làng Kim Liên, xã Nam Đàn, tỉnh Nghệ An. Quê nội của Bác Hồ hình như gọi là làng Sen.
Before arriving, we knew Nghệ An was Vietnam's largest province by area and the birthplace of Ho Chí Minh. Home to more than 3 million people, the province stretches from the mountains bordering Laos all the way to Vietnam's east coast. The village itself offered an interesting glimpse into Ho Chí Minh's early life and simple rural environment when he grew up. Unfortunately, this was also where we experienced the one disappointing moment of our time in Nghệ An, but we won't dwell on it too much because every destination has its occasional bad experience, and one disappointing interaction shouldn't define an entire province. To lift our spirits, we headed to Vinh City. One stop Daniel was particularly excited about was Sông Lam Stadium. There was no way we were coming to Vinh without visiting the home of Sông Lam, Nghệ An. Lunch then turned into a small adventure of its own. The first restaurant Google suggested didn't exist. The second wouldn't be serving food for another 40 minutes. At that point, we were tired, hungry, and slightly frustrated. Then the owner came back and told us he'd asked the chef to start cooking early. It was a small gesture, but meant a lot. The meal was simple, delicious, and exactly what we needed. As we spent more time around Vinh, we started noticing things that genuinely surprised us. The first was the pace of life. Vinh isn't as busy, crowded, or chaotic as Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh City. Life seems slower here. The roads aren't packed, the streets feel calmer, and surprisingly, we really enjoyed that. One thing that genuinely stood out to us was the driving culture. Drivers seemed noticeably more patient. People gave way, they waited, and there was far less horn blowing than we're used to hearing elsewhere. Considering Vietnam's reputation for busy roads and enthusiastic use of the horn, this was one of the biggest surprises of our visit. The city also felt remarkably clean. There was very little rubbish. The streets appeared well maintained, and locals seemed genuinely conscious about keeping their surrounding tidy. It's something we appreciated and couldn't help noticing. The accent was another interesting experience. At times, we found it a little difficult to follow, but everyone we met was incredibly friendly and patient. Our next stop was the cathedral, nhà thờ Chính Tòa, xã Đoài. Unfortunately, the cathedral we'd come to see no longer existed. The original building had been demolished and a new cathedral is planned in its place. Travel doesn't always go to plan, but sometimes the places you discover unexpectedly becomes the highlight. On our way back, we came across Giáo xứ Ngọc Liên, a beautiful church that wasn't on our itinerary at all. A service was taking place, so we quietly admired it from outside before continuing on. Then, we spotted a giant Buddha in the distance. The statue belonged to Phúc Lạc Temple, a peaceful place to finish the day. Before arriving, we thought Nghệ An would simply be another stop on our way south. Instead, it became one of those places that quietly grows on you. It isn't Vietnam's busiest city or its most famous tourist destination, but the slower pace, cleaner streets, patient drivers, and most importantly, the warmth of its people left a lasting impression on us. The taxi driver who saved our Mực Nhảy mission, the restaurant owner who convinced his chef to start cooking early, and the many locals who welcomed us wherever we went. Sometimes the places you expected the least from become the ones you remember the most, and Nghệ An was one of those places. Well, that's it for day 9 and 10, everybody. See you in the next one. Xin chào!